want to specially welcome you to the Friday edition of the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM. And I want to trust that your week has been good. It's been extremely engaging on the show. And it's not just on the show, even on the programs. All of the conversation we've had all through the week. We started off on Monday with some safety and health, precautions. We had engineer Honora Emmanuel, that's the president of Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria. Talk to us about the fear of NAFDAC in respect to the quality of bread being produced for Nigerians to consume. And he took us through all of that journey. On Tuesday, Barrister Adams Atta was our guest on the show. We talked about the age limit. We also talked about setting agenda for the new CJ, and that's Justice Kɪᴅɪ. We talked about all of that. On Wednesday was a massive conversation on midweek politics, and on Thursday, Mr. Miwadi, the chief political editor of Guardian, was also here. We talked about the invitation of the National President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, by the police headquarters on the count of allegations of terrorism funding, cyber crime, and a lot of other issues that were placed before him. He honored the invitation yesterday alongside his lawyer, Barrister Fẹ́mi SAN, Barrister Dija Adeyanju, and a few other lawyers that followed him. But the invitation was really short and quick. And they had the interview, and the lawyer said there was no reason for him to be detained, so the issue of bail or whatever didn't come up, because they just asked him a few questions, and then they allowed him to go. But the conversation remains that is that going to be the end of such? Those are weighty allegations. Like I said, they are just allegations, but are quite weighty. He's supposed to be the number one labor man in the country. It's supposed to be the mouthpiece of the member of the Nigerian Labour force when it comes to negotiation, when it comes to the minimum wage issues, the welfare of the Nigerian workers, and all of that. But look at the allegations leveled against him. Terrorism financing is huge, treasonable felony. Those are really big allegations. But hopefully the next couple of days, maybe weeks, I would get to know more on that particular situation. But that was just a rundown of everything we've done in the course of today. The the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security, IIPS, yes, Barrister Ambassador Tony Ofoyeton, will be joining me on the show today, and we'll look at addressing kidnapping and ransom demands in Nigeria, the challenges and the solutions. These are really important. Earlier today, I got a text from Barrister Abiodun Bakare, and she was talking. It was still making reference to the issue of the age restriction that the Minister of Education announced last week in respect to underage children not being allowed to write their final exam. So let me say the secondary school leaving certificate exam, the one we call WAEC or even NECO, JAM. Remember around July, JAM made there restrictions that anyone below 18 would not be allowed to get into the universities in Nigeria. Well, we talked about enforcing the structure, the 6334 structure that we have on ground. But again, you also look at some of the implications of this. Mr. Miwadi went political yesterday, and he talked about the fact that there's no balance in the educational structure of certain regions in this country. And for someone that have stayed up north for a couple of years, it's kind of having some different colorations when we get to talk about that issue. You look at the cutoff for unity schools, for instance. You look at how many marks you need to get into federal schools, unity schools, federal colleges. It's the cutoff is always different. But again, The minister feels like people should stay at home. The parents are rushing their children to get into the university. It is wrong for you to graduate at 21 or 22. It's too early for you to get into the university at 16 or 17. You should still be with your parents. You should still be going through. And one thing I've always understood about life is it is wrong for you to think the university will raise your kids. They could train your children, but the university will not raise your children. If you have a child under your roof for 16 years or for 17 years and you cannot put in the basic skills that child needs to survive in a society, irrespective of the pressure, there are a lot of little, in quotes, children that have gone into the universities in Nigeria and they've graduated without having any issue whatsoever, without joining cults, without getting carried away, distracted, or without doing all of such. We've had them. And we've had adults also that have got into the university and they've gone to misbehave. We've got people that are over 20, got into the university and then they went to join cults, they messed up themselves. So sometimes it's basically about a factor of where you're coming from as an individual. What background did you have? How were you raised as a person? Yes, there are also instances where children will get to school maybe underage. I'm really struggling with that underage conversation, but let's just stick to the fact that if you're not 18 in Nigeria, you're still underage, considering the fact that it's only 18 that you're permitted to have a driver's license. It's only 18 you're permitted to exercise your franchise, has the right to vote or be voted for. So let's stick with that conversation of 18. Let's agree. We've seen kids that are not 18 yet, they've gotten into school and they've gotten really messed up. A lot of them won't even be able to go home during vacation when the schools are on break, because their parents will probably not even recognize them anymore. They get into school and then they change their looks, they start misbehaving, start rolling with the wrong people. You can't take that away, but you also need to flip the coin. The kids that are going into school at 16 and at 20, they were done, made first class, made good grades for themselves, got scholarships to go for their masters right in the same university. So it's basically about just throwing the baby away with the bathwater. It's basically about having a headache and decide to cut off the head, instead of us to look for solutions to make sure that what happens to the counseling units in the universities, are they still functional beyond you studying guidance and counseling as an undergraduate? I don't even know if they get properly counseled, by the way, but these are issues that we could look into, rather than just saying, what, because one or two people have decided to misbehave because they were not 18 when they got into school, nobody under 18 should get into school. That's in a world where people can connect with their contemporaries in other part of the world even without leaving their countries, where they see what 16, 15, 14-year-olds are doing in other country in the world, and then you're telling them that once they graduate at 15 or 16, you'll have to stay at home for 2 years before they go write JAMB. And you and I know that JAMB expires after 1 year. That's something we should look into. A lot of our foreign exams, you could use them for the next 3-4 years. We should look into some of these things. Okay, you have to wait till you were 18 before we got into school. We agree. So you want to run a law degree, for instance, and then you wrote JAMB for the first time, you didn't pass JAMB. You wrote it for the second time, you passed. You wrote the post-UTME or post-UTME, you also passed. But because of the standard of the school you chose, they didn't give you admission. It's not like you didn't pass. Probably you had maybe 280 something, but there were a lot of people that had over 300. So you also missed the opportunity that year. So you have to write the JAMB again. And sometimes the longer you stay at home, the more some of these distractions would always come in. So you eventually got into school for a law degree that is a 5-year course at 22. So by the time you're done with your law degree, 25, you go to law school 1 year, that's 26. You go for NYSC, that's 27. And you cannot even rule out the possibility of ASU strike. We've seen ASU go on 9-month strike under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. ASU was on strike for 10 months. ASU was on strike for 10 months in this same country. So do you factor all of that in the conversation? Do you also factor the fact that you could even finish from school and your department will not even process your result or mobilize you for service on time? So you want to apply for a job or you want to apply for a scholarship opportunity and they tell you that, oh, it's from 27 down. You want to apply for a job and they tell you that, oh, the slot is open to 25 and or maybe 27 below with 5 years experience. How do you balance all of these things when you couldn't even get into school early enough? I mean, these things are a bit complicated. Sometimes I feel like, just making the umbrella decision. I understand that it's not a new policy. It's a policy that has been existing for a long time. It's just that this administration decided to implement it. We understand. But again, there's a twist to the conversation. How many of these policymakers have their children schooling in Nigerian universities? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. If the minister, Professor Tᴏɪᴜ Mamman, if he still has kids or children or kids that are still within the university age, are they schooling in Nigeria? The children of the president, if they are still within the university line, are they schooling here? The children of the Senate president, the senator. We've seen a lot of times where governors, 7 governors would, you see scattered all over the pages of newspapers, going to UK, going to Canada, going to the US to celebrate the graduation of their kids. And they are political office holders in this country. I understand that they have the right to send their kids anywhere. But if your kid could graduate in the UK at 22, you should not stop kids from graduating in Nigeria at 22. If your kids at 19 can gain admission in the United States, you shouldn't stop them here. If your kids at 17 can gain admission in the US, you should not stop them from gaining it here. Rather, we should fix some of the challenges that we have in school. My university certificate says in academics and in learning and in character. So the university would also imbibe some of those things in you. You have to act right, and that's the truth. But it doesn't mean that, oh, because I'm 16, I cannot think straight, I cannot carry the responsibility. When do I want to carry the responsibility? Is it when I'm married? Is it when I'm 25? When I've got a whole lot of pressure coming up on me left, right, and center? I feel, some of these policies need to be a reflection. I mean, we're not running a rigid system of government. That is why our constitution is even amended. That's why they tell you that Nigerian 1999 constitution has amended. Our electoral laws are also open to review and amendment. Why should we be rigid on our education policies? Why? We should, be flexible enough to reflect the current realities. And the current realities in the world is that there are a lot of things you can put in place that you can allow a 17-year-old get into the university and he will graduate at 21 or 22 and move on with their lives. These are issues that the policymakers in this country needs to look into. The issues of funding. Our Nigerian universities are in dilapidated. They are in a terrible place. You look at some of these lectures, some of these students are sitting on the ground. You see a class that's supposed to have like maybe 80, 100, they're like 400, 500. Do we even have enough lecturers? So you look at it, a lecturer that is taking 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level, and then is marking like 500 students for every level, and all of them are writing exams at the same time, and they have to submit the result at the same time to the Senate. I mean, these are issues that we need to look into. How encouraged are the lecturers, universities? How much research grants do we make available for them? These are issues that are more pertinent within the Nigerian educational structure that needs urgent attention. So if we feel our priorities is reducing the number of or the years that people can get into school, let's go on. Let's bring in 20-year-olds with lecture halls that don't have windows. When it's raining, you can't sit in classes. Lecture halls where the lecturer will have to address about 500 students without the public address system, without projectors. If you're sitting at the back, you will not hear what the lecturer is saying or even see what the lecturer is teaching you. What happens to the curriculum in this country? When was the last time we had a proper review of the Nigerian education, our curriculum within the Nigerian universities? So people will get to school in 100 level and they will go and collect the lecture material of someone that graduated 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I'd be interested to know that it's still the same lecture notes. These are issues that we need to focus on. These are issues that we need to work on. When our Nigerian lecturers travel on grants, do they come back? Even when people get research grants, do they even do those researches? When was the last time there was a major discovery from any Nigerian university here? That, oh, we researched this and this was what we found out. Oh, these are the cures that we have for COVID. These are the cures that we have. This is the invention that we are putting on for HIV, for chicken pox. When was the last time we had all of these inventions coming out from the Nigerian universities? But we're more interested in, making sure that people are 25 before they graduate. So their brain are already messed up, and then they have a lot of things distracting them. I think we can do more. We should be able to do more in terms of the value we place on education in this country. I'm not saying, there are not instances where people get into school and then they misbehave, but sometimes it's not even about the age. Have you not seen where a 15-year-old will behave and you be like, wow, are you really 15? You act way than your age. And then somebody is 30 and you be like, why are you acting like a 12-year-old like this? It's a regular thing within or outside the educational system. So why should this restriction be a major problem right now? I'm trying to connect with my guest. He's not responding. Maybe he's got caught up somewhere, but I spoke with him a few minutes before I came on air, and then he told us he was going to be on standby. We'll still keep trying. I told you my guest was supposed to be the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security, IIPS, Ambassador Tony Ofoyeton. I was supposed to look at the issue of kidnapping and ransom demands in Nigeria. It's really on the rise. It's really, really on the rise. I mean, I was listening to the former chairman, House Committee on banditry, kidnapping, and other related offenses. Yes, Honorable Jamal Shinkafi or something like that. And he was talking about the fact that while he was in the House of Rep and was the head of that committee, that for the places they went to, they knew the parents and the grandparents of some of these bandits. It was on national TV when he said it. And he talked about the fact that we should not deceive ourselves that some of these bandits are foreigners. He said 85 of these bandits are Nigerians, that they know their grandparents, they know their parents, people know them. So he talked about aiding and abetting, that the people in the community are not even giving information enough. That's what I wanted us to talk about on the show today, boy. We've talked about quite a lot of things on the show this week, so perhaps there's one or two of those stories that caught your fancy while we're still hoping to link up with our guest and bring him up on the show to discuss the security challenges of this country. Let me have your thoughts. 0913-600-0410. A lot of people are actually argued in favor of the age restrictions, by the way. But Mr. Miwademi said something yesterday. He said his daughter got into UI at 16 and she made a first class in law. And so while the ASU strike was going on, she wanted to go learn makeup and all of that. And he was like, no, I'm not going to allow you. I want you to stay focused. That even took her to the 𝐴fẹ́ chambers in Ibadan so that she would just be there and get herself fixed up. And then she stayed focused and then she came out with a first class. So imagine if you've derailed the thought of that child. Oh, stay at home for the 2 years, go and learn shoemaking, go and learn hairdressing, go and learn fashion designing. I'm not saying all of those are not brilliant. I mean, when you get into school and you have all of those things, it takes away the pressure of maybe having to ask for your parents money every time. You have something doing on campus. But it is not every child that could have their brain processed that way. Some of them just want to continue the way they are going and get things done. Let me pick a couple of your calls. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mr. Laiwala, good to have you on the show today.
Very good afternoon. You know, the issue, we talk a lot about this, what do they call it, within this week. The issue of education, when people are on the political platform, and I try to explain basically here. In any way that we have a social, education is a part of the social contract we have in this country, isn't it? And one of the aspects of it, we had a former minister of education that they don't know anything about education. But the current one knows much about education. But you people that are journalists, I know that most of the people take this issue as if that is a big issue. Why we cannot go back to those educational policies that we have on ground and look at the act that also govern those procedures, how to admit the student into the school. Look at it in Lagos State, because I try to observe it. All the private in the whole Lagos State never receive any student because their parents pay with a huge amount of money. And the failure of it,
Mr. Laiwola,
no even,
Mr. Laiwola,
yeah.
I was privileged to go to a private school, and I can tell you for a fact that people do repeat private schools. People do repeat in private schools, Mr. Laiwola.
That is listing. The reason why, what do they call it, Mr. Ope, what is on ground that I'm telling you, 85% to 90% of those assessments we carry out in the private schools in the Lagos. No any student repeated. I'm telling you, I am saying it. I can say it. Come and observe it in the child that I'm living here. All of them get promotion to the next class. This is the issue we are facing here. And the second part of it, those private schools also admitting a student of 1 year that cannot talk. Within the next 6 years or 7 years, the student have been graduated from primary school. At the age of 12 or 14 years, the students are also finished from the education. How can a student that is, let me just say, a child that is under 18, that is supposed to be under custodian of his parent or guardian, and is giving him admission all the way from here that is Sokoto, a neutral environment, how can that student survive within that kind of?
But Mr. Laiwola, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What if the same child gets a scholarship at 16 to the US? Can he go to the US?
And can USA cannot give him the admission? Go and check it. Because,
are you serious right now?
Can I give you an example now? Can I give you an example?
Please just wrap up your thoughts.
Let me relate it to a sport now. There is a player that is Madrid, got signed from the Brazil. They signed at the age of 18 years. Because he cannot enter a full contract, then wait until the child enter 18 years before he can travel to the Europe to come and perform his professional.
Mr. Laiwola, I'll have to let you go now. I understand the player you're talking about, but let me also give you an instance. The best player, or let me say the best young player, they just concluded European Championship, Lamine Yamal. He plays for Barcelona. He's 16. In fact, during the Euros, because of the law in Germany that once you are 16, you cannot work anytime from 8 p.m. Each time Spain has to, Spanish Football Association had to pay 30,000 euros as fine before they could allow Lamine Yamal to play his games. As they just concluded Euros just about 2 months ago, he had goals, he had assists. So, at 16, he was already working. He's playing for Barcelona, one of the biggest football clubs in the world. He plays the Champions League. He plays every game. Let me have your thoughts, Ambassador Musbao. Hello. Ooh, okay. I think he's not ready to talk to us. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Your name and where you calling from?
Ajibola calling from Ikola.
Mr. Ajibola from Ikola. Okay.
It's laughable matter, but one thing is something that is not so. If they want to take us back to 1950, let us just go back to 1950. In this computer age, in this 24th century, we are talking about 18 years old to write WAEC and NECO. Whereby, when you enter institution, you can have 4 years of delay. No. This thing is standing somehow. But that is what me. I don't see that something serious because they just use for every day to distract us. Almost everybody has forgotten that we are still well at 900 and teaching Kalita. Just that as a side distraction. That is one thing they always do. Just give us something to keep us busy from seeing the bad things they are doing. That I just see that as a side distraction because it sounds meaningless to me. Is that what we give them a good curriculum in school? A lot of go to institutions. I finished from Ilorin, I think some years back, and I know the condition of what we do, what we do, running from one lecture theater to another lecture theater. I mean, long distance, no short, nothing. The condition of the class when it is raining is difficult. Is that what they are talking about? So the students just go to school without the lack of future. They are talking about of the curriculum. I'm telling you, I used one of the materials of 4 years back, and it's almost bad thing with what they are teaching us.
All of us did it when we got 100 level. We go to the departmental library to get lecture notes of many years prior, and it's still the same thing.
And it's still the bad thing. I'm telling you, bad thing. The lecturer will still take us. But not different, not slight differences.
I think those are more issues. Those are more issues we should pay attention to.
And how will they progress when we are still using the same curriculum of 4 years, 5 years, 7 years back? How can the country progress?
Thank you.
We are on the same track for like 7 years back.
Thank you.
This nation is just a joke.
Thank you very much, and God bless you too. Thank you for joining the conversation. You're live on Mainland FM 0913600410. Alhaji Subar.
Yes, Mr. Okweri.
You're welcome.
Good evening, sir. Yes, my own contribution to this issue is this. Government should understand that we are now in an advanced stage of life in terms of technology. Good. But you see, brains are not equal. We have some gifted, brains, which they are magnets. We all know that. And because at the age of 12 or 13, they can see this wide. As brilliant as some of these children are now, not coupled with the opportunity of computer age or whatever the technology, which we don't have, in those days. So we should advance ourselves with this advancement. It's very necessary. But at the same time, the issue of tertiary institution, that is where I'm going, Mr. Okweri. At the age of 18, I will agree with the government that students who enter university or tertiary institution at the age of 18 on one condition. Mr. Okweri, listen to me very well.
I'm with you, sir.
On one condition, that the moment you enter, tertiary institution, there's nothing like fright. Look, quote me. There's nothing like fright. That is within the period of. Are you getting me, sir?
I'm with you.
Yes, within the period of your tertiary institution, if it is a course of 4 years,
it should be 4 years.
Usually it will be 4 years. God bless you, Mr. Okweri. If it's a course of 5 years, you have that mathematics and you will pass out within that 5 years. And the government should take note. There is a kind of age limit for NYSC.
That's 30.
You understand? Are you getting me, sir?
Yes, I said that's
because
30.
the moment they strike within this period, you will discover that some of these students will not be able to do NYSC because it's going to be elongated. So government should now start their own, position and make proper, adequate provision for this abnormality. So that the moment there will be no Indra. I agree with them in terms of a tertiary institution, which is already constitutional. It's already there. It is not new. You understand? It's only they are implementing it.
I understand your point, Alhaji Subar. So that means that if we all agree that everybody should go in at 18, then the government should also play their part in making sure that 4 years is 4 years, 5 years is 5 years.
God bless you, Mr. Okweri.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I'm sorry, Alhaji Subar. I thought you were done. Well, that's a different twist to the 4-year course will be my 4-year course. Mr. Lucky.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
I beg, you let me do something. Let us keep it to time. 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Please, I understand.
Please, I don't want to talk more. What I want to talk, I want to occur with what the first caller said. He said 90% are being, but I'm thinking 95% of private school in Nigeria, in Lagos here, up where, or they pass all their students, because if the child pay, they will take that child from that school.
I'll take him somewhere else.
Because if you look at them, they will give them all the whole class A plus A plus. It happened to me too. What I said, when I see my child that day, A plus, I check almost all the class. so A+. No one fail. What understand? So what the first caller call is that is what is happening in a private school in Lagos here. 95% of them, they remove all of them because if you fail, that means they don't remove that type of school.
So is it that these things does not happen in public schools also?
No, it don't happen in public school like that.
It does. So that means if I leave public school at 17, I should enter university.
Yes. Because the public school, you are not paying school fees. Public school, you are not paying school fees. But understand? But that private, what they need, that private school, what they need is your money. That is just what go and what the first just say everything about it. I'm telling you.
Thank you very much.
Out of 100 now one, it be like that one you go. All those one are Jebo school, so they not be like I think you know.
Thank you very much. Well, I mean, those are, I don't want to say the allegations, but if you are a private school operator, maybe you're a proprietress or a proprietor or a secondary school principal, I would love you to have let's have this conversation. They said that 99% of people students that went to private secondary schools are just pushed forward. I went to a private secondary school, and I can tell you for a fact that I wasn't pushed forward. But maybe I'm part of the 1%. But if you happen to be the operator of a private secondary school in Nigeria, I would kindly love you to join this conversation. Let's have this issue. It's a Friday, so why not? Hello,
sir.
You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Paul.
Well, a lot has been said about this age limit in this country. Some part of this country marry or leave a girl and they marry for 13 years. What are we going to talk about that? So there will be conformity and conformity. If you say 18 years, 13 years or 2 years, they don't get a country because the same thing, 13 years, we not marry. In that area. Because the way you guys have a particular region, the way they are going to now, maybe they want to put them also that others will catch up. It's quite unfortunate. Anywhere this way tell me that he gives a child to go to school and come at the age of 18. Look at China, all the look at their children 14, 13 years. The fact is, for all these things you are telling here, are we moving forward? Are we moving backward in this country? Every time we do something that won't move the country forward. And so we give it opportunity. That 15 years cannot go handle so many things.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
It's quite unfortunate. I can't understand it. And even if that is what about strike, active strike? So when we say 4 years to 4 years, how many of them that children schooling here? If they're children 4 years to 4 years, and when we want to go somewhere, they will ask you 10 years experience. A lot of things have to be into consideration before we allow this. And I believe they cannot see the light of it.
Start of the show. It's just this administration wanting to implement it effectively. So it's not something that is even open for debate. It's not something that maybe the House of the National Assembly could, call it and ask for a review, or invite the minister over and all of that in line of their oversight functions. But it's not even something that is still being debated. It's already part of the system. It's just that it's not been implemented, and the minister feels like, what, it is time we return sanity to the educational system in Nigeria, and we need to start from not allowing underage children to write WAEC, NECO or JAM. Hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
You're welcome.
Oh, well done, sir. Thank you very much for your good work.
Thank you. Your name and where you calling from?
Okemoke is my name.
Okay.
I'm calling you from Abulado.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Okemoke.
Okay. Yeah. I greet everybody home and abroad. What I want to say there is our leaders, they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what to do. In fact, they don't know what to start. Is this school children are the problem now? So I don't even know where they are heading to. Now you keep a child maybe 2 years they would have finished a secondary school or finished a primary school. 2 years. If they will enter another different lifestyle of doing different things that will not even good. Keeping them in the school will help them. And in some of these things that life is style that they are behaving that is not okay. Some of them, it will help them not to take part on those things again or those things. It will make them busy in the school. So they don't even know what they are doing, I'm telling you. And may God forgive them and help our country. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
And I keep on advocating. We should live in peace and unity, in harmony with each and everyone all over Nigeria. I'm from Cross River, I'm in Lagos here, but anyone I see, I receive him as my brother and my sister. And that is what we're supposed to do. Everybody, please. God bless you, my brother.
And God bless you too, and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. 0913-600-0410. Like I said, I was supposed to have a conversation on, the addressing kidnapping and ransom demands in Nigeria. I was supposed to look at some of the challenges and, bring up solutions to it. I was supposed to have the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security, IPS, join me on the show, but I guess he got busy. Maybe we'll have to move that conversation till Monday. So we decided to review the biggest topic we had this week. I think 18 as a number, we feel so proud right now that at least they remembered me after a long time. The conversation in the last 2 weeks has been about 18 years, 18 years, 18 years, 17 years, 18 years. Let me talk to Obi.
Baba, great to
Good to have you join us, TGIF.
Thank God it's Friday. Okay. I want to give the government expo. The expo I want to give to if they want this policy to work out, they should start it from now. Like the way you want to enter secondary school now. Sorry, what do you call it? Primary.
Primary, okay.
Start it now. Yes. So that these people that are now in school will not have any problem, okay? Because this thing they're going to cut short a lot of young men and young lads that are already in SS1 and so forth as well. And for some people that say that in private schools that they are passing, the person is making mistakes. You see, the children of these days they are well thought than our time.
The access to information those people have.
It's much.
You can have a tab that will have more than 10,000 educational materials on it. You don't even need textbooks anymore.
Do not me mathematics. Let's not look at that. And there are very few in a class where you have only 20 children in a class. You will be taught the exam. Then they can wait to 18 years. This issue of somebody after finishing secondary,
what I'm saying is that rather than for them to allow JAM to expire
15 years, you write the exam and begin to forget everything of it now. Thank you very much.
We're having a conversation now, and what it is now that just after 1 year, you have to write again if you don't get admission. If you write your JAM and you portmanteau and you carry everything and you go resume school. Join us on the show. Yes. Your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you very much. My name is Sɪᴛᴜᴜ. Private schools, they don't repeat and all. I happen to attend a private secondary. Like I had to pay the fees, and it's not even for those who even if you do not make up to a particular grade, then you are going to withdraw you. They're going to have to ask you to withdraw from that school. Like this is from a private secondary school. Now I'm not to counter a public school or one of the government schools. I'm aware of some children. This is like real life experience of children who went to write common entrance in some sort of school and they were giving them answers. And when some children were against it, they told them, do you want these other children to fail? So it's not about that private school or public school. It's about the integrity of the school owners and the pedigree that they choose to, the structure that they choose to set. So please, let's not put that information just public or commonize it at private schools to make them. I think it depends on the school owners and the authorities in charge. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you, Titi from the island. I mean, like I said, I also went to a private school and I was not pushed. At least we're here today and then we're learning. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. My name is Yusuf. I'm calling from the island. I'm on the queue. I want to back up.
Mr. Yusuf, you have to rub that one to my face.
No, it's not 30. But quick,
since 1:30 and this is almost 5 p.m.
I'm telling you, it's 1:30 p.m. So quick one, you see this issue of it's not being able to write Jambo and not be able to do WAEC is not really making sense. If they want to they want to really enforce the law that it has been 18 before, okay, let them write WAEC and JAB. Then probably they will have to wait when they are 18 before they can gain admission. And this idea of somebody saying private school, they push them. As far as I'm concerned, probably the kind of private school that person is talking about. I'm from Shagamu, and I have a child at school in Shagamu as well. Private school, I don't want to mention it, so I won't do free advice. There are lots of private schools in Shagamu that, in fact, at some point they will even tell you, they will even tell parents to come and take their kid that no, this one
is not going anywhere.
You get it. And these schools, all their pupils pass WAEC easily. And because the fact is just that these days, I went to a public secondary school, but these days when you go back to all those schools,
they are a mess. They are a mess.
In fact, my own secondary school, if not for a very strong alumni that we have, but that school will be nothing to write on. Alumni that is spending a lot of money there. The government is not doing their best in terms of encouraging teachers to do more compared to the way it used to be in those days. Do you understand me? So it will not really work because these days, the way our kids are growing up, you can't even judge what a 12-year-old child can do. I can tell you that I have a child that is just 3 years old, and she can identify 10 different colors.
At 3?
At 3.
At 3, the only thing I know is black and white.
I am telling you, my dog, but I know, I can see it. I know what I'm saying.
I know, I believe you.
Yeah, at 3 means at least annually, at 3, I'm paying up to 400K. In primary school, at 3, she can identify 10 different colors. 10 different colors. Wake her up, she will tell you. In fact, a lot of things that she will challenge me in the house, and I will just go, this guy, he thinks he's intelligent more than I do. So we should not underestimate our kids today. So I would like to go, probably they can just bring it to 16, then it's fine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you for lending your thoughts. I mean, he just talked. I think I want to go back to what my previous caller said. He talked about the fact that if the government can extend the the validity of some of these exams, for I know WAEC and NECO is valid for as long as you want them, but for JAM, if I graduate at 16 and I have the mental capacity to get into the exams and I write the exams, because there's something about that consistency. Or at the same time, you wrote your WAEC, you wrote your NECO, you wrote everything. I did all of my O levels at a sitting, and that was because I was in school and my brain was still fresh, just coming out of SSC, writing JAM, everything is good. I'm not saying you still can't meet up if you spend a couple of days at home. I'm not saying that, or a couple of years. I'm not saying that, but okay, I know I won't get into school until I'm 18, but let me write this JAM and keep it so that I know that okay, for the next 2 years, or even if I'm learning anything else, if I'm probably going into a technical setup, I'm going to learn handcraft, I know that I'm still going to school. A lot of people would go learn those things and they would not even want to go back to school, probably because they're making money. They'll be like, you know what, I will go to school later, I will go to school another time, already making money, and you feel like let education wait. It's a risk and it's something we really need to look into. Hello, good evening.
Hey,
Ambassador Musa. Thank God it's Friday.
This you really know that you talk about the education and talk about security. First, let me touch on the education. People are arguing about the private school. They don't repeat. If your parents have so much discipline, you will repeat. But if your parents, if you said that
no, if you repeat my son, I will change the school. There are the parents who not allow their son to repeat. So I mean, that's the issue. But if the parents do that, no, only repeat now, go back, go and retake the class. You must. So now, if that parents stand by it, so most parents are the ones that will tell the owner of the school, you repeat my son, my daughter, I'll change the school. So I mean, and the product of the school, we want to hold on. They will do something. Okay, let them manage your packages. Is that what you want? So that's where it starts from. So, like my dad, we will not allow that to. You have to repeat. Repeat. What repeat here? Because that's before. Now, on the issue of the government, I love this. Honestly, human speak are made for adults. Honestly, but the government needs to do something. Why should I not jam now? And I got the call mark from jam, and my school refused. Maybe I don't meet up. I'm going to retake that jam. It shouldn't be. It should, when you go and
see, Ambassador Musbah. Ambassador Musbah.
What should be?
Ambassador Musbah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The issue now is that you're not even going to write the JAMB until you are 18. They won't even sell form for you. They will not allow you register for JAMB until you are 18. So it's not even about writing it and failing or passing.
That's where I'm going. Let me tell you, are just. They should not put age limit. So if I can run JAMB 18, and you are telling me play Alba that you want 25, 24 minimum. No, you should say okay 29, 30 maximum. For employing, so they change it. You should know that, so that as I change down, do some, let's just move forward. Not that to 29, 30.
Thank you.
Minimum age for employing. 39, no president to 25, 24.
Thank you very much. I think it's about give and take. If I'm going to have to make that sacrifice and bend the rules, and as a parent, I'm going to have to delay the year my kid will get into school. So what I'm basically saying is that until you're 6, you can't get into primary school. Okay, if I have to do all of that, you have to also guarantee me that if my child get into a public school, he's not going to spend 10 months at home because of ASUU strike. He's not going to spend 6-7 months at home because his department did not mobilize him for NYSC on time. And then he's not going to miss NYSC at 30 because he stayed too long in school. I mean, imagine if I got into school at 24 and then I did 6 years in law school, or 5 years for my law degree and 6 years and 1 year, making 6 years. That's 30. That means I cannot observe the mandatory NYSC. I have to go for exemption. These are things that we need to look into first. We may eventually find legitimate reasons to implement or to go on and effectively implement this policy. But what are we putting on ground? What about the people that are already in GSS 1, GSS 2? What happens to them? Are they going to get to GSS 3 and tell them to stop? Or they'll get to GSS 3 at 16 and tell them to wait at home for years? I mean, these are issues that we can look into. I believe the whole early education thing helps your kids to stay focused. Let me tell you a little story. I have a friend, like a family friend, $0 and Mr. David and Omobi. I was at Mr. David's birthday party, I think a couple of months back, and one of their sons was looking for his tab. So he was asking me if I know where he kept his tab, jokingly. I had to ask him that, can you repeat what you said? I could barely hear the English that is coming from this boy's mouth. Very little boy, I think Josh or something. Like, these are little children. So the kind of access, the information these kids have access to these days, these things form their thinking process. So when we have a government that is ready to restrict university education level till people are 18, and then we need to really look into what we want from education in a country where the population is over 60% of.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Dumpy.
I'm Dumpy by name.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Number one, let me correct an impression. Okay, I get the shocker of my life at the school of my daughter. This last section, they just finished. Okay, we pay a lot of money. When I say money, we pay a lot of money in that secondary school here in Lagos. Okay, but something shocked me is that some children will be repeating their classes.
In the same school, you are paying huge amount of money.
But we pay a lot of money. As a matter of fact, we pay annually. We pay more than 3 million.
Wow.
And being part of my child classmates
are repeating.
Will be repeating.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, there is no mercy, there is no compromise.
And it's a private school.
There is no arranging. It's a private school here in Lagos. I say I got the shocker of my life. I was driving home, I was pondering about it, I couldn't believe it. I said, people will pay through their nose, and by the end of the day, their children will not make it to the next class, simply because they could not get the score to move them to the next class. Here in Lagos, here in Nigeria, where there is nothing like pushover, there is nothing like keep more moving, there is nothing like you have paid too much, there is nothing like your dad is this or your dad is that, where they don't send you. My daughter is in that school. This is first-hand information. Was a shocker for me. I couldn't believe it. So those who are saying that
private schools are pushing through,
maybe, I don't know, the kind of private school they are going. I don't know.
Dumpy,
that's just the truth.
Thank you so much. I have to let you go now because we are due for our first break, which is 5 o'clock for the headline news. And when we come back, the program continues. I have loads of messages to read on Facebook at facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Drop your message. We're streaming live, and unfortunately, we couldn't link up to my guest today. We're supposed to discuss issues of kidnappings and ransom demands in Nigeria, but I can assure you that will be our topic for Monday. God spend our lives till then. But I have to step back now for deadline news. The program will return immediately after that. Listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is 𝐴ᴇᴜ FCCPC will ensure that associations who distort market prices will face the law. Toxic chemical discharge sparks protests at Kaduna Refinery. NNPC begins search for credible firms to operate and maintain Warri and Kaduna refineries. 10% of cardiovascular deaths in Nigeria attributed to high salt intake. Other forums saying Germany resumes deportation of convicted Afghan nationals amid rising migration tensions. In sports, Victor Osimhen set to miss out on 54 billion naira per season as Saudi grants Al Ahly reportedly end chase for Nigerian striker. That's the headline news on Mainland FM.
Hi, I live in Lagos. And when you talk about class, you talk about us. You talk about style, you mention Mainland 98.3 FM. Yes, that's class. Mainland 98.3 FM.
Don't you hate it when you're waiting for a song and an ad pops up? Well, we've got you with Flexa Bundle from MTN. You can listen to over 100 million songs ad-free on Apple Music. Yeah, you heard right. Just dial *305*8# and enjoy a whole 1 month of Apple Music and 1 gigabyte of data for just 1,750 naira airtime. Remember, *305*8# to enjoy Flexa Bundle from MTN. And guess what? Flexa Bundle works on both iOS and Android. So, whether you are rocking an iPhone or an Android phone, you are good to go. MTN, what are you doing today?
correct food, they always give me joy. That's why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season am with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatashe, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Na im make my pikin dem dey always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see all your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes. For that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Guys, you need to check your NIN status. I cannot say this enough because the next batch of borrowing will start again soon. I know some of us have submitted our NIN multiple times, but your NIN has not been linked to your lines either because your picture on MTN portal might be different from the one on NIMC portal, or you got married and changed your name, or another person registered your line for you when you bought it, or you mistakenly used a wrong date of birth, and many other reasons. But don't worry, MTN has made it easier to link your NIN in just 2 minutes from the comfort of your home, office, or while you're on the move. No need to visit MTN office and join the queue. If you use a smartphone, you can visit nin.mtn.ng or dial *996*4# on your MTN line. Just follow the instructions and you're done in under 2 minutes. Remember, borrowing will start again very soon. Link your NIN to avoid stories that touch. MTN. What are we doing today?
Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan? My village people don't come again oh. This one wey your body hot so, you don't do test? Yes, see result oh. Oga landlord, no be your village people oh. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine wey dey knack down malaria. Oya see am, take am. Hey, thank you, Oga Luta. I don't dey kampe. Luta, brand of Artemata and Lumefantrine, is another quality product from Hovid, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, see your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria's in big trouble.
Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan? My village people don't come again oh. This one wey your body hot so, you don't do test? Yes, see result oh. Oga landlord, no be your village people oh. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine wey dey knack down malaria. Oya see am, take am. Hey, thank you, Oga Luta. I don't dey kampe. Luta, brand of Artemata and Lumefantrine, is another quality product from Hovid, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, see your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria's in big trouble.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-seasoned cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, it's for good.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
and more crowded. It's time to break it open and really stand out. Is here.
Mainland 98.3 FM. Lagos.
Things seems anxious.
In our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 45:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should give us this
It's important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join O꞉ᴏᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you in minutes as we discuss the situations.
Welcome back. By 5:30, the full news would come up, and by 6 o'clock, I will be back for the Friday edition of Sports Cruise. So much to talk about as we approach the transfer day deadline for the clubs in Britain. Yes, that's the clubs in Scotland, in Ireland, in England as well. All of those clubs, their transfer deadline is tonight. So let's see how it goes. Victor Osimhen to Chelsea, to Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia, to be or not to be. You get all of that by 6 o'clock. Don't worry. But let's get back into the conversation on the show today. Like I said, we're supposed to have a guest to discuss, ransom and kidnappings in Nigeria, the challenges, but I think we'd have to move that conversation till Monday. I would decide to, have a larger, discourse on the 18 years, the restrictions on the WAEC, instead of in July, where JAM announced that children under 18 would not be allowed to sit for the exams. I guess a lot of people didn't exactly pay attention to it until the Minister of Education announced that of WAEC and NECO, and then everybody went like, how do you make such decisions? And I've enjoyed the perspective of the conversation today. A lot of solutions that I've not even thought of. Somebody said, you know what, if we're going to stick to this policy, then the government should also guarantee that your 4 years will be your 4 years, your 5 years will be your 5 years. Nothing is going to change it. What about that? Hey, let me have your thoughts as we continue to pick the calls and read your messages. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Okwemi.
You're welcome.
You're really doing a nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, well, my name is Sɪᴛᴜᴜ.
Okay.
I want to be.
Where are you joining us from?
From Akoka, University of Lagos.
Okay.
I've been trying to get you online. Like me now, I finished at the age of 17. So you understand? And my son now is in America now, doing medicine. He's doing medicine. He will finish this year at the age of 24. My daughter finished accountancy in Canada at the age of 22. She's working now with her own house, and she stays in her own house. She has her own house. She has her own personal car. So I don't like that idea of people disrupting kids. It's like these old people, old papa now, with bad, because of their own. It's not that they have any bad intention, but because of their own experience, they are old and they finish school at the old age. So you understand? So now they don't know that things have changed entirely. So they are still living in their own. You understand, their own age. You understand, their level of understanding is very, very low. They don't know that kids of nowadays have live in a computer age. You understand? So that's the problem we have now. If they now implement that policy, that means they are taking us back now to 50, 100 years back now, which is not good for Nigeria. Do you understand? That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have loads of messages to read. I don't even know where to start from. Maybe I should take your direct messages on 0913-600-0430. I think we'll take some of the messages from there. That will go on Facebook and on YouTube and read your message. Alhaji Subaru says the issue of WAEC and tertiary institution condition is not new. It's only not being implemented because some of our leaders were affected due to the fact that they all had institutions. Okay, Alhaji Subaru, thank you very much. Tochukwu Adele says, look at it this way, guys. They cause unemployment in the policy too. The earlier they graduate, the more that can compete for these scarce opportunities. The lower the entry age requested by employers, and at the end, the later they retire and create room for new intake. Okay. This is Dio from Fagba, and it says Nigeria has one of the highest out-of-school children rates in the world due to insecurities, kidnappings, and also due to inflation and increase in school fees caused by the government for the past 8 months. Is this not intentional to destroy education? Because they believe that the more educated you are, the more you'll be able to vote rightly and defend yourself. Even protesting same free education that made them what they are today, but they prefer to breed people they would use to intimidate during election. Okay, the best of us is being ruled by the worst of us. Thank you very much, Dio. TY from Okoebi says, my take on this 18 years new policy as regards WAEC and NECO should be looked into again. Reason on my own part is because most of the children following the 6336 model will be at SS3 at 16 going into 17. So we should go back home and wait till we are 18 before the right WAEC and NECO. Is not really okay. You also said they can be allowed to write WAEC and NECO, then wait till they are 18 before writing JAM, and the result validity would also still remain. Okay. Thank you very much, TY from Okwebi. Thank you. This one says, in fact, the minister combined 2 certificates before entering university. Can you imagine that? That is Basi from Ogudu. He says, on the Minister of Education, this man was the one who could not remember the year he finished in secondary school and the number of credits he had during the Senate screening. Oh, true. I remember now, Professor. I remember. Thank you very much, Basi from Ugudu. Now I clearly remember. I remember that screening where Senator Elisha Abo had to come and defend him before he got kicked out of the Senate by the court. Good evening, guys. God, thank you for this conversation you're having on radio. I run a school in Egbeda, and I can tell you for a fact that it will be difficult for us to implement this policy, whether they push them or they don't push them. I have kids that at 14 they can conveniently write WAEC and clear all of their papers. We are even the one holding them back and telling their parents to wait till they are 16. Thank you very much, Stephen from Egbeda. Let me pick your calls again. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
you're welcome.
I greet you. Good afternoon.
Good evening. Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is P from Gondo.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Why is it that this our government, they like to come and bring policies that will just make people start to argue? There are 1 million problem in the country. Why is it that these people will just come and say something just to scatter, to distract us? Their children, they are not here. Their children are in abroad. They are even under 18 in universities. Many of them, some of them celebrated their children 22 years they graduated and in a foreign country, and they are here making law that will spoil our country, making people to suffer. It is very, very bad. This government should sit up. Look at it, China. Look at the small button phone we use. It is what the Chinese secondary school, their children are producing in China. All these button phones. These children of nowadays, they are very, very sharp. Even my sister's child is going to a private school. They are teaching them coding at the age of 6.
10, 7.
6.
They're
I said
teaching
6.
them coding.
This one is 6. And they are teaching them coding. When we were in Lasu those days, we were taught Kobo.
What are you coding?
Now I'm saying.
What do you want to code?
We are taught a 1000 programming language. Imagine 6 years old being taught coding. Before that child graduates from primary school, that child will know how to program and how to build website with coding. This government should stop destroying our education, because they know if you want to kill any country, just destroy the education system, they will succeed. Government should stop all this thing and sit up. It is very, very bad. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Prince YS is trying to call us. I hope you'll be lucky enough to get through. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Mainland FM.
My brother, good evening.
Your name and where you calling
from?
How you doing now? I'm doing good. And you?
Kenny.
I didn't get your name.
Kenny.
Okay, Kenny from where?
Kenny. Yeah.
Okay.
From Sudleri.
Okay, you're welcome, Kenny.
Yeah, my brother, let me bust the bubble. My daughter, she's 9 years old. She has her own website. In fact, I was just looking at her. She said I should go into our website. I should subscribe.
At 9?
She said I should subscribe. Yesterday, I was just looking at her. Because she went to one academy this thing for the summer. They were teaching them coding. She had, the other day, she did PowerPoint to get to. As in PowerPoint slide. I was just looking at this girl.
At 9?
9! I'm telling you. My daughter. So, during the ages, they always tell us when your hand is not
touch the other side, you cannot enter school.
Primary school. They should go and bury that dogma. It's no longer in existence. The Minister of Education, he should be care about 20 million out of school children. Look at how to bring them back to the people that are willing to vote. They're trying to demoralize them, thereby confirm their education. That is you can test it. He's trying to tell them education is scam. What would you tell them to wait? Wait to do what? Why some people are marrying off 14 years old children? He is not doing anything about it. 13 years old children, they are marrying them off. Hotel, mass wedding. He is not bothered. He's not at all. I listen to his streaming now. He does not know when he finishes this thing. Some of you say, I will bring it that when you request. They know. Take your resume to when you are doing interview. We are just playing around. See, Abu came and did rescue mission. He's my brother. He's from my senatorial deal. He is this, he is that. He can bring it later. That is why they let him go. So the Minister of Education should stop bringing us backward. He should allow everything to slide. Let it continue that way. These people, they are willing, they have the burning zeal and desire to go to school. You go to that area that people are not going to school. Go and do rescue mission there. Don't come, because what he's trying to do, you know what he's trying to do. You know, there are some regions that are academically backward. He wants everybody to be on the same pedestal.
And that was what my guest, that was what Mr. Miwademi said yesterday.
Yes, now, he wants everything to be on the same pedestal so that everybody will be. Because they have been talking about that region. There's problem there. As a minister, go and solve that problem. No, you want to use the same brush to paint everybody. Do you know what is happening now in our area? People are taking all these hard substance. You understand? Because the minds are not engaged. They are taking colors, they are taking so many gum and what have you. Look at young boys falling on the street. Some of them are doing slow motion, some are staggering. But I have one in case. The same thing, but we are locking the boy inside the house. We are locking the boy inside the house because he was taking colors, squishy, and what is it called? Now you cannot do anything again. Whenever you release him, you will just run also to go and take that. If he has not taken that thing, he will not get himself.
Thank you.
After he will be vibrating. Because he needs to take that thing. So Minister of Education should mind his portfolio, not willing people that want to go to education or that want to school, you come and be disturbing them. Go to the region where the people are not going to school. Many of of his friends have married up 13-year-old children. He's not talking to them. He's not encouraging them. He's not advising them.
Thank you.
Leave our children alone. Let my daughter do her coding.
Thank you very much, and I wish your daughter well. I'm always really, I'm really fascinated when I see little kids doing some amazing stuff, and you get to see a lot of them, around right now. Well, the Minister of Education is actually a professor at law, so let's just get it all straight. And I remember the incident during the screening where Senator Kakashi Ulawan, who said that he was a student of the minister at Borno State University, and that the minister treated him well. Yes, he said the Minister of Education during his screening at the Senate last year, was his former law lecturer and dean of student affairs, adding that he equipped me intellectually and otherwise. Okay. Interesting. Let's see all of this would let's see where all of this would lead us to. Woody Austin says, what was the reason for introducing 633 system? Secondary school was 5 years before. The reason was to make the children to undergo 1 year practical. Federal government brought and supplied many equipment to secondary schools in Nigeria. Today, where are those equipment? The Minister of Education is okay. I won't use the word, but of course, he said this new policy of 18 years before university admission is DOA. It has dead on arrival. Benjamin Isse says, you see how our security agencies are losing their value daily. How can the police launch such weighty allegations of sponsoring terrorism, committing treasonable felony, only for the person to appear before the police for answering questions, and the police change the story to something different? Okay, we saw it in the case of Emefiele, the former CBN governor, with DSS. The Nigerian security agency should be serious so that the populace can take them serious also. Kenneth Anthony, thank you very much. I got a message. You're saying good afternoon to us. Let me read some of your messages. You said it's obvious that the government is really confused and indeed losing direction, from petroleum management, economic policies, education policy, all of them. The Minister of Education just demonstrated their level of directionless. They're not talking of the billions that have been allocating to themselves from the legislative. Okay, Steve from Ijaniki, thank you very much. Okay, Prince from Ojo Alaba. Okay, I guess this message is okay, it's mine. He said there's no single university or institution in the southwest that have been included in the okay, he said, well done for taking your time to read our list of beneficiaries for student loan in Nigeria and the 2 billion naira that have been disbursed. No single institution in the southeast was included. Well, I'm sure it's based on the application. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
This is Oppayemi Akinyode on the show.
Oppayemi, sorry, Gary.
I understand.
Misplaced priority, just like what they are doing there.
Good to have you join us on the show. You've been calling since.
John from Okpa.
You're welcome, Steve.
You know, this policy is not only actually degrading, limiting, retarding, but on progress. How can you, when you have the ages of, look at what the previous caller has mentioned about their children having a full good knowledge of coding, and you are limiting them, you are retarding them from progressing to the next level, because, and I believe that that's ulterior motives, because your area, you are only concerned with early child marriages, and you are not doing anything about that. Yes, that's just the truth now. It was these people from this area that stopped HSC school, higher school certificate at the advanced level, which has been a veritable tool for you to go. And as at that level, you are well equipped to go on. Yes, so assuming that one is existing now, so you understand, these children could easily go in there. If they say these children should go in there, then from there they are already made up, they are already prepared for the university and the high school. But these people, they expunge it, they stop it. Can you imagine? They are coming up with another obnoxious policy, just like what somebody said in there, that okay, They will just come, they will just throw one banter or one stupid, I'm sorry to use that language, one uncommon or unpopular policy just to distract us and to just to be just to begin to argue about it and whereas the late I'm sorry if you let me
Mr. John, you wait for Kokore Day at 8 p.m. and use that proverb. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the program today. Like I said, we're supposed to have as our guest Dr. Ambassador Tony Ofoyeton, the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security, IIPS, but would move that to Monday to address issues of kidnapping and ransom demand in Nigeria. It's a challenge, but we'll look for the solution. So we have to switch on and check what the Minister of Education said. Unfortunately, for not having my guest, but fortunately for having you join the conversation today. I'm so sorry I can't pick your calls anymore. Prince Wise, I'm seeing your calls. I'm sorry, we're pressed for time. We'll have to continue this conversation on Monday. But by 5:30 the full news will come through, and by 6 o'clock I will come back to take you through the world of sport, especially as we prepare for the deadline transfer rush. A lot of movement left and right. Thank you so much for everyone for making this production a success. Thank you so much, Pelumi, for being a part of the production, and most importantly to you for your calls, your messages. We thank you and we love you. I'll be back by Monday, Gospel and Alive, but keep your dad locked on Milan 98.3 FM because we are the sound of Lagos.